What if humanity's next home isn't the red deserts of Mars, but the swirling clouds of Venus? For decades, Mars has been the star of our interplanetary dreams, the go-to destination for sci-fi adventures and real-life colonization plans. But what if we've been looking in the wrong direction? What if Venus, often dismissed as a hellish inferno, holds the key to our future among the stars? Picture this: floating cities suspended in the upper atmosphere of Venus, where the conditions are surprisingly Earth-like. Imagine a world where we harness the planet's abundant solar energy, mine its atmosphere for resources, and build a thriving civilization above the clouds. Sounds like science fiction, right? But what if it's not? What if Venus could be the better choice for humanity's next giant leap? Stay with us as we explore the surprising possibilities of colonizing Venus, from the science behind floating habitats to the challenges and opportunities that await us on this mysterious planet. By the end of this video, you might just find yourself asking, why aren't we talking more about Venus? Let's dive in and uncover the future that could be waiting for us on our closest planetary neighbor. Now turning to the basics, let's compare Venus and Mars side by side to understand why one has captured our imagination while the other has been largely overlooked. First, consider their distance from Earth. Venus is our closest planetary neighbor, averaging about 25 million miles away, while Mars sits farther out at around 34 million miles. That difference might not sound like much, but in space travel terms, it's significant. A shorter distance means less time and fuel to get there, making Venus a more practical destination for missions. Next, let's talk size and gravity. Venus is almost the same size as Earth, with a diameter just a few hundred miles smaller. This means its gravity is about 90% of Earth's, which would make it easier for humans to adapt compared to Mars, where gravity is only about 38% of Earth. Living in low gravity for extended periods can lead to muscle atrophy and bone density loss, so Venus's stronger gravity could be a major advantage for long-term colonization. Now let's dive into their atmospheres, and this is where things get really interesting. Mars has a thin atmosphere, mostly carbon dioxide, with almost no oxygen and very little pressure. This makes it impossible to breathe without a spacesuit and exposes the surface to harmful radiation from the sun. Venus, on the other hand, has an incredibly thick atmosphere, also mostly carbon dioxide, but with a surface pressure 92 times that of Earth. This dense atmosphere creates a runaway greenhouse effect, making Venus the hottest planet in our solar system, with surface temperatures reaching a scorching 900 degrees Fahrenheit. So why has Mars been the traditional focus for colonization? The answer lies in its surface conditions. Mars, despite its thin atmosphere and cold temperatures, has a solid surface that we can land on and explore. Its day-night cycle is similar to Earth's, and its polar ice caps suggest the presence of water, a critical resource for survival. Venus, with its extreme heat and crushing pressure, seems like a dead end for surface colonization. But here's the twist: while Venus's surface is a no-go zone, its upper atmosphere is a different story. About 30 miles above the surface, the temperature and pressure are surprisingly Earth-like, opening up the possibility of floating habitats. This is why Venus has been overlooked for so long. Its surface conditions are so hostile that it's easy to dismiss the planet entirely. But when we look beyond the surface, we find a world of potential waiting to be unlocked. So, while Mars has been the star of our interplanetary dreams, Venus might just be the dark horse we've been ignoring. As we move forward, we'll explore how floating cities in Venus's upper atmosphere could make this seemingly impossible dream a reality. Now turning to the case for Venus, let's explore why this often overlooked planet might actually be the better choice for humanity's next home. One of the most compelling advantages of Venus is its proximity to Earth. As we mentioned earlier, Venus is closer to us than Mars, which means shorter travel times and lower fuel costs for missions. This makes it not only more practical but also more feasible for repeated trips, which could be crucial for establishing and maintaining a colony. Another major advantage is Venus's gravity. At about 90% of Earth's gravity, it's far more familiar to our bodies than Mars's 38%. Living in low gravity for extended periods can lead to serious health issues like muscle atrophy and bone density loss. On Venus, these problems would be significantly reduced, making it easier for humans to adapt and thrive over the long term. This stronger gravity could also make it simpler to build structures and maintain equipment, as things wouldn't float away as easily as they might on Mars. Then there's the issue of energy. Venus is closer to the Sun than Mars, which means it receives far more solar energy. In fact, Venus gets about twice as much sunlight per square meter as Earth does, and nearly 4 times as much as Mars. This abundance of solar energy could power everything from life support systems to manufacturing facilities, making Venus a self-sustaining colony in ways that Mars might struggle to achieve. Solar panels on Venus would be incredibly efficient, providing a nearly limitless source of clean energy. But perhaps the most intriguing advantage of Venus lies in its atmosphere. While the surface is a scorching, high-pressure nightmare, the upper atmosphere is a different story. About 30 miles above the surface, the temperature and pressure are surprisingly Earth-like, with temperatures ranging from 30 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit and pressure similar to what we experience at sea level on Earth. This makes it possible to imagine floating habitats suspended in the clouds where humans could live and work in relative comfort. So, while Mars has been the traditional focus for colonization, Venus offers unique advantages that could make it a more viable option for long-term human habitation. Its proximity, similar gravity, and abundant solar energy all point to a future where Venus might not just be a backup plan, but the best plan. As we move forward, we'll dive deeper into how these advantages could be harnessed to create a thriving colony in the clouds of Venus. Now turning to the challenges of Venus, let's explore why this planet, despite its advantages, presents some of the most extreme obstacles humanity has ever faced. The surface of Venus is a hostile environment unlike anything we've encountered. With temperatures soaring to around 900 degrees Fahrenheit, it's hot enough to melt lead. This intense heat is caused by a runaway greenhouse effect, where the thick atmosphere traps solar energy, creating a furnace-like environment that would instantly destroy any unprotected equipment or human life. But the heat is only part of the problem. The atmospheric pressure on Venus is another major hurdle. At the surface, the pressure is about 90 times greater than what we experience on Earth. To put that into perspective, it's equivalent to being nearly 1 kilometer underwater in Earth's oceans. This crushing pressure would flatten most structures and make it nearly impossible for humans to survive without incredibly robust and heavily reinforced habitats. Even the most advanced materials we have today would struggle to withstand these conditions for long periods. These extreme conditions make surface colonization on Venus nearly impossible with current technology. The combination of heat and pressure creates an environment where traditional construction methods and materials simply wouldn't hold up. Any attempt to build on the surface would require revolutionary advancements in engineering and materials science, far beyond what we're capable of today. This is why scientists and engineers have turned their attention to alternative solutions, focusing not on the surface but on the upper atmosphere of Venus. In the next section, we'll explore how floating habitats in the clouds of Venus could provide a way to bypass these surface challenges, offering a more Earth-like environment where humans could potentially live and thrive. But for now, it's clear that while Venus has its advantages, the extreme heat and pressure of its surface present some of the most daunting obstacles we'd need to overcome to make colonization a reality. Now turning to the conclusion of our exploration, let's revisit the key points we've discussed about the possibility of colonizing Venus. We've seen how Venus, despite its extreme surface conditions, offers unique advantages like its proximity to Earth, similar gravity, and abundant solar energy. These factors make it a compelling alternative to Mars. However, the challenges are equally significant, with surface temperatures reaching 900 degrees Fahrenheit and atmospheric pressure 90 times greater than Earth's, making surface colonization nearly impossible with current technology. Yet the concept of floating cities in Venus's upper atmosphere presents a groundbreaking solution. By suspending habitats in the clouds, we could bypass the planet's hostile surface and create a more Earth-like environment for human habitation. We've also explored how Venus's atmosphere could be mined for resources, how its proximity to the Sun could provide limitless solar energy, and how advanced robotics could play a crucial role in building and maintaining these colonies. The psychological and social dynamics of living in such a unique environment add another layer of complexity, but also opportunity for humanity to adapt and thrive. So, as we reflect on the possibilities, we're left with a thought-provoking question. Is Venus the key to humanity's future among the stars? Could this fiery planet, with its floating cities and untapped potential, become our next home? What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more futuristic explorations. Together, let's imagine the incredible possibilities that await us in the cosmos.